crazy, but I didn't know he would.
How did it run after that, Cat?
It helped it. It didn't spin as much coming off the turn.
Welcome to another high-octane episode of Southern Dirt Motorsports.
You traveled off some and did some stuff. I remember going with you one time to North Georgia Speedway and racing. And I know you used to go to Boyd's and a whole lot of different places. And like you say, Duck River, I can remember they had a big race over there one time, and you sat on the pole for that. I remember some of the, like Jack Pennington, I think he was even there and stuff like that. So
that 10,000 win?
I have any idea. I don't remember.
Yeah, you don't remember the race?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No.
I remember you sitting on the pole. It was like a 2-day show. We didn't have those that often,
Right,
around here. But I remember a 2-day show, and you qualified on the pole that first day. I can't remember how it went, how it came out, but I do remember sitting on the
You
pole.
doored Ronnie Johnson at one of them.
Oh, that was at Duck River.
Okay.
I mean, no, it was at Winchester. my fuel line broke. I was leading the race, and my fuel line broke off inside the gas tank. So it would, when I was off the gas going in the corner, it would pick up fuel and fill the carburetor up, and I'd get in that throttle, and they'd take off down the straightaway, and I'd get about halfway down the straightaway, and it'd quit.
Yeah.
But right in the middle of the corner, it'd start running again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Ronnie started around me. He was running second. He started around me on the outside after about 3 laps of this, and the motor decided to run. So I just run over him.
Well, kind of being of the same mindset as Junior, you came up with a swing arm suspension, which is close to a motorcycle suspension, right?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In I guess an attempt to try to get a hold of Winchester better, right?
That was it, yeah.
Because at that time, Rayburn cars were cantilever, and they had this funky looking. And even Rayburn, he did things backwards from most people. The cantilever, like on these custom cars, like that Freddie Smith and most of them had, the cantilever was in the back, and then on the Rayburn cars, the cantilever was going to the front, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so you just kind of done away with that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I copied a motorcycle swing arm. That's what I did.
Yeah.
And
So you made all that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I made it out of a big billet piece of aluminum, and way overkill, but it worked.
Yeah.
And I won a lot of races with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That put me on the map because nobody had that suspension but me.
Right. And then I know you used to make motor parts, like intakes and things like that, didn't you? Like seemed like, or maybe intake spacers or something. Didn't you have a big motor that had?
Oh yeah, it's still sitting on the floor.
Yeah. But you made a lot of that stuff.
Oh yeah, I had to. I'm a tool and die guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's.
And you couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
If you can't afford it, you got to make
You
it.
can't. Well, you can't. If you can buy it, everybody's gonna buy it. You got to make something that nobody else has got.
Right.
If you want to win, you got to be different.
Late model racing, it's a constant evolution.
Right.
Things are always changing, and it was no different back then. You had to, like you said, you had to think outside the box.
Right.
Because if you didn't, then you were going to be second all the time, right?
Yeah, that rear suspension was a copy of a motorcycle. I mean,
Right.
I put motorcycle rear suspension on it.
Right.
And that was on that 86 Rayburn you did, or 84 Rayburn? Because it was
That one out there.
Yeah, it was a cantilever, right?
Yeah, to start with.
Yeah. And then you cut it apart and put a swing arm on it.
But then Rayburn went to that type of suspension.
Very, very similar. Yeah.
Give me a few conversations with Rayburn.
Oh, dude. You don't want them.
Yeah. This is a family show, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a unique individual.
Rayburn.
He just passed away not too long ago.
Yeah, last year or something.
No, it
Was this year?
It may have been last year.
It's been
End
a
of
year.
last year. Yeah, it's probably been a year. I know some of the guys have had like a tribute to him on their car, and stuff. But
Rayburn built a modern late model.
Yeah.
For years and years and years, everything was Rayburn copy.
Yeah.
It wasn't a Rayburn, it's a Rayburn copy.
Yeah. But I can remember going to Rayburn's. I've only been there one time. And at his shop across the field was Bob Glidden's.
Mhm.
And supposedly that's where the late model cars, it came from, the round tube
Right.
late model cars came from Rayburn. From Bob Glidden's Pro Stock cars.
Mm-hmm.
That he kind of copied those cars and put leaf springs on them and stuff. Because those cars were probably 4-bar cars even then. Pro Stock cars probably were.
Yeah.
Now, what about that drag car that you bought from Rayburn?
Well, that was, I did. I bought a car at Raven's one time, a drag race car that weighed, I'm thinking, it weighed 600 or 800 pounds. That was without a motor in it. But
Yeah.
it was the rest of the car there.
Yeah.
And Rayburn had built it because him and Glidden had been arguing, and Rayburn's, this is what a drag car has to be. This is what it has to be, you know.
Yeah.
And you got all this other crap on there, but this is all you need.
Yeah, because Glidden was telling him, drag car's got to be this,
Yeah,
this. And
yeah.
Rayburn built one that said, this is all it's got to be.
Yeah. And I never drove the car, ended up selling it before I drove it, but there were people there that, when I bought the thing, that had seen it run, and they said it'd pick the front wheels up about 4 inches off the ground, and said it'd go off out the other end of the gate.
Yeah.
So it just,
And I think it held track record at Indy for
oh yeah, for
8
years.
mile record or something up there for a long time.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I've tried to find that car, and I cannot find it.
Yeah.
It disappeared.
Yeah.
I wanted to resurrect it.
I remember one winter, Monty decides to reinvent the wheel on his car again. And do you remember the time when you moved everything to the back to get the right front as light as possible?
Yeah. Radiator and everything.
Yeah.
Burn up a couple of
Yeah.
motors.
But he had, Trea had lowered the body down, like real low in the front. I don't know if you've ever saw that car or whatever, but the hood was sunk way down in it. Yeah, and the fender was built up and stuff. It was really, that body was pretty cool. It was really neat, car, And, every now and then, I love all race cars, but every now and then you see one that's pretty unique or different, that car was unique, I thought.
Yeah.
And Rayburn had a car one time where him and Randy Sweet were racing and trying to break like a world record on asphalt.
Yeah.
And I thought that car was really,
It was awesome.
that thing had a million rivets.
Yeah, big old sideboards and stuff
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah. Have you ever raced late models with sideboards?
Oh man,
Yeah.
just big spoilers, not really sideboards.
Yeah.
Open rules.
Yeah.
And got all I could afford to buy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you never had the plexiglass down the sides and stuff.
Well, not completely down the side like that. No.
Okay.
No. We had big pieces of the nose would be square, and then big pieces down the left-hand side.
Like what they call the wedge car.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you ever go to Glasgow,
I
Kentucky?
went up and watched her a couple of times. I never raced her.
Yeah. This fellow named Russ Petro, they were going to have the Kentucky Classic one time. And he had this car that looked like just a wedge. It just started in sheet metal in the front and went right over the top of the roll cage and came out the back.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
Yeah.
And this car was, Mr. Hill described that place as not so much as a racetrack, but a landing strip for aircraft. Those cars were really wild. They had to take like a step ladder and get in them, and stuff. It was really wild to see them. And Charlie Schwartz had those cars, those big wedge cars. They had the big giant quarter panels on them and everything.
And the right rear on them cars, golly, that's huge.
Yeah, they were like measured over 100 inches around, didn't they? Like 103,
Yeah.
I can remember Pepper had
We should have brought that. I got one over in the garage.
Tires.
Yeah. It's mounted on a 16-inch wide wheel.
They call them humpers. Yeah. I remember going to World 100 in 1977 with Pepper, and all these guys up there, they were all on humpers and had big block tires and all that. These guys come up out of Georgia, and they had the little 125 Hoosiers on the back and had 106 Firestones on the front, and they just robbed left them guys. But of course, that was another changing of the guard. Where the cars were changing and everything. So it's just kind of a constant. So then what year did you stop racing then? I know you said when Trea came along, but
yeah. What year was we were looking at that little motorcycle?
Yeah, I think that first motorcycle was either a 94 or 95. Something around there.
Yeah. After we were looking at the pictures a while ago and found his first motorcycle.
back to where we were. You were stopping racing yourself because you had Trea come along.
And they outlawed all your stuff.
Yeah.
That was the reason right there.
Yeah.
They changed all the rules.
They changed the rules. Yeah, we went to the races one day, and everything I had was illegal.
Yeah.
So I took it home, parked it, and picked him up, and we went to Nashville and bought a mini bike and started racing mini bikes.
There you go. So how old were you, Trea, when you started racing?
I was 5. Yeah, I was 5. We started.
They start racing cars now.
Yeah. And we were 5 and bought a little K1050 and started running the local fair races and stuff. And then Charlie Lee, Charlie Lee?
I don't really know.
From Sparta, he's a big drag car guy.
Yeah.
His son, Charlie Jr., had a motocross track in his backyard. And Charlie Jr.'s son was my age. And we grew up racing together, and that's where we learned to ride right there in Sparta.
Oh, okay.
So
that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So then you took motocross, began to get serious.
Mm-hmm.
How were you when you started kind of traveling around? Because there wasn't really anything local, was there?
No, we had a few local tracks here. We had Terrell had that track out there where Moore County Lawn and Garden is now, and then there was Brown's Chapel that Landon McCormick owned. But they weren't real big race tracks. But we started traveling around when I was probably 7 or 8, and started running the amateur nationals and stuff like that, and did it for years. Until we quit. We raced all over the Southeast.
Until you went off to college.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember Monty and you. I don't know how old you were, but you came to Talladega Short Track one year, and Monty told me the story later on that you were shaking money at me, like that he used to do that for you.
Yeah.
That would make you go on to the front.
Yeah, he gave me $5 to win or something like that.
So eventually, though, you picked his pocket for quite a bit.
Yeah, we
started winning.
We won some good races.
Yeah, but you got out of the motorcycles on account of.
Yeah, I got old, and we got to the point where it was okay. Either try to do this for a living or go to school, and not many people make a living doing it. So we went to school and did that.
Very tough. But like Monty, I think, didn't you buy a motorhome and everything when y'all guys were traveling?
Oh yeah,
and
we wore out a couple of
so you stayed right with you. Y'all did the Loretta-Lynn thing, the whole 9 yards. So
and we tried go-kart racing one time.
Did you?
Yeah. I broke my arm. I broke my arm on a motorcycle, broke my leg or something.
Leg.
Might have been my leg. And we did it. We broke our arm one year and the leg next year. So we was like, well, let's reevaluate and get a go-kart. So we got a go-kart and we raced one time.
Really?
So we raced one time.
It just didn't work out.
Somebody spun out in front of him and they threw a caution flag, and Trea didn't know what. Motocross caution flag is just in that area.
Just slow down.
It's just in that area, And Trea goes in the corner, wide open. He sees his cart, and he said, "Well, I'm going to go around him." And about the time he gets there, the kid lets off the brake right in front of him. Trea hits him, and he does a full 360-degree flip, sideways, roll, and hits back on the wheels.
Wow.
And gets mud on top of his helmet.
Wow.
So I'm like, y'all put that back in the trailer. We're going to find another sport.
Yeah. There you go. So you graduated to the race cars.
Mm-hmm.
I know you would have a Warrior car to start with, guys.
Yeah, we started with, it was an 08 Warrior, I think it was, and I bought it.
It was Freddie Smith's car.
It was Freddie Smith's car. I bought it from Philip Snelling. who
McCready's.
he's McCready. He works with Tim McCready now, but he helped Freddie Smith for a long time. And he bought that car from Freddie and ran it a couple times up in Kentucky, and then I bought it from him.
Right. So you were kind of like Monty. You didn't start in the lower division or anything. You stepped right up to the
The first time we ever got in one, we had a Dash 12 400 Super Late model motor, and first thing I ain't drove nothing since a go kart.
Yeah. So you're like,
5 horsepower to 700.
Yeah. How old were you then?
Well, I just got out of school, so I was 20, 26, 27.
Yeah.
Something like
So it
that.
was a late start, like for late model racing compared to how they are now. I know the boy that won, Garrett Smith, won the
At 19
World
years
Dirt
old.
Track, championship is 19 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
You know, but again, you know, he's matched with a great race car, and then I know they're hiring people to work on the thing. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, how's been the learning curve for you? I mean,
Steep.
Steve,
Yeah,
it
steep.
is you know, competition
Mm-hmm.
is tough, isn't it?
Yeah, and especially the way we started, we we went straight into supers and ran there for a year, and I mean we was just in the way.
Did you did some time with Dale McDowell, maybe?
We did a school with Dale there, and that helped me a lot. And then they quit when Winchester closed. They quit running supers, so we built that limited motor, and we've been running limited since, and got a lot of experience in that. You know, and that's what there is to race around here now.
But still, I mean, even though you've been racing now, what, 4 or 5 years, maybe?
Yeah, we
You
really
still hadn't raced that much.
No, we had we blowed a couple motors, and then COVID hit, and you know this year was really the first full year of racing that we've got.
Yeah. How many races have you run this year?
We was talking about that the other day. You know, I think we've probably ran 20, maybe 20 times this year.
Pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm real happy with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And you got your first win at Crossville last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And of course your grandfather was there.
Yeah, my grandfather was there.
So that's a big accomplishment, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. It was. My grandfather there. Zeke was there.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was a nice win to get with everybody there.
Yeah. So when you get one like that, though, you're right. you got that. You want more. You want to win some more.
Mm-hmm.
And so that causes you to write bad checks. And, racing's expensive, right?
Yeah.
Racing costs now the same thing it always cost. Everything you make.
Yeah. Everything you can get, all your time.
Yeah.
Everything.
All your time and all your money.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You got to kind of admire guys like Junior, though, that built all this stuff and, on their own. And, all the parts came from the salvage yard. And,
They race junk.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that car before, and the seat was like a barrel.
Yeah,
or
we
something
was made
that
out of
cut out,
20-gallon
or
barrel.
something. So those guys were tough. No power steering. Could you imagine driving one of these cars with no power steering? I've tried it before. It's not too good.
Yeah. When you was racing, they had power steering.
No, not when I first started.
Okay.
I never
You
had.
probably didn't.
I didn't have
Yeah.
power steering. No.
So I remember trying to drive a car that Pepper had there one time, and I guess it had so much caster, the difference there that I couldn't hardly turn the wheel back, the opposite way,
Right.
and because just the way they had to set the front ends and stuff where they would steer in, but
Now
you
it's
couldn't
like
hardly
driving
turn
a
it back.
Toyota.
Yeah, if you get the setup right,
Yeah.
but you got to have a good shot guy.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have, and like I said, you have XL, right? Cars. They're from South Carolina.
Yeah.
And but did you have you do have another car that you race, and
It's a Dixie chassis.
Dixie chassis. Okay.
It came out of South Carolina as well.
Okay.
That's where North Carolina, South Carolina. It's a lot of fabricators.
Well,
there.
everybody's a racer in North Carolina, right? Everybody races cars, but there's so much technology now that trickles down from the Cup Series as far as shocks and things like that. And of course, everything is just with the tires and everything. But these cars are mostly everybody's on a 4-bar suspension, right? So
Except for Rusty Swing.
yeah, but if you tune the thing and stuff like you say, with the shocks and with the 4-bar and stuff, some nights it drives like a Cadillac, but if you miss it, it's not so good, right?
Yeah. Some nights, some nights it's the car's on, and anybody can get in there and drive it. Thing.
Yeah.
And then some nights, you take everybody out of the grandstand and put it there because nobody drive it.
Right. But you got like young guys coming along, like you. So our sport is going to continue to grow, and William Blankenship,
Yeah,
and Kane Newby,
Mhm.
all these guys,
great
are gonna,
drivers.
yeah, all these guys are they're coming along. So we got a whole lot to look forward to. And what's your plan for the rest of this year?
We're gonna run till it's too cold to go.
Yeah.
So and then if we get a warm day, we'll go race.
Right.
Because used to you'd race, till the off season, till October, September, till football
Right.
started. Now you can race all year long
Yep.
if you want to.
Yeah.
So we'll race as much as we can this year and
Yeah.
right into next year.
Up in East Tennessee, they have the leftover, and the hangover, and then in Talladega they have the ice bowl.
Ice bowl, yeah.
And then everybody migrates to Florida in February, and you can, like Monty used to race motorcycles down there for
Yeah.
a month. You can race dirt cars down there for a month, and then by the time you come back up in here, you can start racing. And like you say, there's is the Dome race that they run at Gateway, is it like a week before Christmas or something like that?
Yeah, it's right in there in December sometime.
Yeah, but you take that week of Christmas, they don't race, and then they start right back.
Yeah, start right back.
The guys that race for a living and
Yeah.
stuff. Of course, that works out great, doesn't it?
Yeah,
For those guys. And
Yeah, we
so
can watch
do
them
you-
on TV.
that's exactly right. But do you have any plans for next year already, or you just gonna?
We'll probably run a lot of that topless outlaw series. We like racing with them guys. There's a lot of good drivers, and I've learned a lot running with them guys because they're fast.
Yeah. Right.
So that's the goal next year is to run with them a lot, and of course we'll run Crossville, Boyd's, I-75. We probably won't stay 100% true to any series, but we'll just race everywhere we can, whenever we can.
Good deal. Again, I want to thank both you guys for taking your time to do this, and it's always fun to talk about racing, especially old time racing, and that's the racing I do best is when you talk about it. Bench racing.
Bench racing, yeah.
Yeah, I do the best at that. But
That's how fast we used to be.
that's exactly right.
The older I get, the faster I was.
Yeah. I like it. All right, that concludes this episode of Southern Dirt Motorsports, and please subscribe and like this guy, and like all these episodes, and until the next episode, we'll see you guys. Thanks.